Everything you're about to hear is for education and entertainment purposes only. Whilst we are licensed, we're not aware of your personal financial circumstances. Any advice is general advice. Equity Mates operates under Australian Financial Services Licence 540697.
Shut up and take my money.
That is an all-time low.
And the old bear is back.
I'd buy that for $1.
Telling me, dream.
Hello and welcome back to another edition of Buy or Sell, coming to you from the No Holds Bar here at Equity Mates HQ. I'm your host, Adam Keily, widely regarded as one of the simplest minds in finance. Luckily for us, I'm joined by an expert to educate me and hopefully you on how they're thinking about stocks and the stocks they're thinking about. This is not a deep dive though. We're going to get through as many stocks as we can in the time that we've got. And you can, of course, find out more about each stock on the Equity Mates website. But today, I am really pleased to welcome back into the No Holds Bar for the second time, Felicity Thomas, Senior Private Wealth Advisor at Shaw & Partners and host of the very popular Equity Mates podcast, Talk Money to Me. Welcome, Felicity.
Welcome. Oh, sorry. Shit. Sorry, I'm used to saying welcome myself. Thank you so much for having me.
You can take the host out of the podcast, but you can't take the podcast out of the host. Something like that.
I know. Well, thanks for having me back, which is great.
Absolute pleasure. Hey, Felicity, as you know, we like to kick things off in the No Holds Bar with a beverage. I think last time you opted for a Bloody Mary. The signature cocktail today is the Seagram's Magnificent 7 Whiskey on the Rocks, which is basically just a Canadian whiskey. What could I get for you today, Felicity? I'm conscious it is again 10:30 in the morning. So.
I think that's why I went with the Bloody Mary last time. Look, I'll mix it up. I'll have a spicy margarita.
A spicy margarita. Lovely. That's a nice way to start the day. And before we look at 10 brand new stocks that you've brought today, I thought we'd better take a sneak peek back at some of the stocks you picked last time. Now, I've got some numbers for you here, Felicity. Overall, your portfolio is up 58.69%. So pretty decent returns across the board. However, there's a little caveat here. If we dig a little bit deeper, you did call Drone Shield a buy at 28 cents. It is now $1.95, so up nearly 600%. Happy with Drone Shield?
Extremely happy with Drone Shield, and so are my clients. We were buying Drone Shield all the way up to the latest placement, which was 80 cents. So even those clients are really happy. Drone Shield's an interesting one. There's a lot of momentum. It's a great space to be in, particularly at the moment, which is quite a sad thing, right, that you're investing in counter-drone technology. But we have taken profits for some clients at $2 because we hit over $2 recently. We just take out initial capital, which allows profits to ride. And, at 614% upside, you're not taking out that much. Really.
If we do take Drone Shield out, and this is why I say there's a little caveat here, if we take Drone Shield out,
you can't.
No, we're going to. How do you reckon overall, if we were weighted equally across the 10 stocks last time, overall, how do you think you fared across the board, up or down?
I reckon I'm still probably up. The one loser in the portfolio so far would be Iris. It's down about 80% since I. But I do believe I should be up.
I think minus 1.06% on my calculations, Felicity. So let's call it even.
We'll call it even.
So you mentioned Iris is down 83% at the moment. So how do you think about something like Iris? Is that you're still staying with it? You're holding it, riding it out?
So Iris and IGO, right, the lithium mines, essentially, and the lithium plays in that portfolio. We know lithium stocks have been sold off. We know the lithium price has been down this year. I don't think this is going to last forever. noting it's only been November, so it hasn't even been a full 12 months yet.
Yeah.
We need about 70 more lithium mines to actually meet the 2030 decarbonisation goals. So I still do believe that lithium will recover. If you think about Iris, right, that is in South Dakota. They can have that mine up into production within the next 12 months. America was all about in America, supporting American towards decarbonisation. So, look, I think here we've been actually topping up, reducing our cost base, and we'll see how we go.
All right, brilliant. The other big winner was Korea, up 80%.
Well, that's 100%. It should be up. It's up 100. We bought it at 20 cents.
Right. But I think when you came on the show, it was, whatever it was, 80%. But let's call it, yeah.
This is why your numbers are off. It was 20 and it was over 40.
All right. Fair enough. Let's call it 90. We'll split the difference.
Yeah. I should be out my portfolio.
That would actually tip you over the edge. All right. Well, let's get stuck into some new stocks. We've got 10 here to get through, and we're going to kick it off with Global Data Center Investment Fund ASX GDC, currently trading at $3.13. Now, I like the sound of this. So rather than trying to pick a data center, we just get all of them. Is that the play here?
Basically, I mean, not all of them, but a great portfolio, worth 211 million of gross assets. Operating revenue is up 36% from last year. First half EBITDA is up 136% from last year. They've successfully integrated Zcoll, their France business, which is more data centers. They've also got a 1% stake in AirTrunk, which actually gets them access to hyperscale data centers. Now, if you haven't heard of a hyperscale data center, it's a facility that houses large-scale IT infrastructure to support cloud and big data. AirTrunk should have a liquidity event at some point in the next 12 to 24 months, which will also benefit GDC shareholders. It's a pure play data center exposure. Management are looking at liquidity events. They're selling some data centers to return some funds to shareholders. So I think this is a really interesting play.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so that's a buy.
I think I'm going to buy.
That's a buy. And just a little caveat here.
Yeah.
Not a Shaw and Partners pick. This is my personal opinion.
All right. Can't wait to see how it works out when you come back next time.
Yes.
All right. Next, we're going to look at Southern Cross Electrical Engineering Limited, ASX SXE, currently trading at $1.76. Southern Cross Electrical sounds like a company you'd call up to do a bathroom reno. Like Foster and Son are coming out to install the taps, and Southern Cross Electrical will be here to wire up the heater. I suspect they're a little bit bigger than that, Felicity.
It sounds pretty boring, doesn't it? But really, so we've done the data centers of the AI thematic. This is really the picks and shovels of the AI thematic. They service data centers. It's been a really strong area for SXE in recent years, as well as the whole electrification and decarbonisation of the economy. So 461 million market cap. Basically, they engage in the provision of electrical instrumentation, communication and maintenance services, super diversified. So they've got diversified operations across three broad market sectors. So you've got infrastructure, commercial and resources. Over the last 7 years, management have really materially grown revenues, so over 200 million, right, in FY17. And they're actually forecasting the recent financial year over 500 mil. And their record order book is looking like 700 mil going into FY25. So I think they're in a really strong position. I think they're really attractively priced. They could sound boring, right? The picks and bubble play. But Shaw and Partners actually has a $2 price target, and it also pays a nice little dividend around 3%.
I think I'm going to buy.
All right, next up we're looking at AMD, Advanced Micro Devices, NASDAQ AMD, currently trading at $171.90. This is kind of like the other chip maker, isn't it? Is this the company for everyone who has FOMO about NVIDIA?
I would say it's NVIDIA's little brother. And I think it's a really big AI opportunity.
What a much nicer way of thinking about it.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess what I'm trying to get at here with AMD is they're actually more diversified than NVIDIA and less of a pure play. than NVIDIA.
Yeah.
And its data center business is really going from strength to strength. They've got this new AI chip, MI300, that's really starting to speed up. They've got projected sales of over $4 billion for 2024. It's actually been one of their fastest chip launches ever. Total revenue of AMD is actually on track to hit $32 billion by 2025, with operating margins expanding more than 10 percentage points. So I think this is a really interesting play. You could say FOMO if you missed out on NVIDIA, but I think NVIDIA's little brother, it's still a mega cap, $270 billion, and it also has an incredible CEO, female CEO, Lisa Su. Listen to some podcasts with her. She's really impressive.
Yeah, cool. So it's kind of a massive little brother then, not.
Yeah,
very good. All right, so AMD is a buy.
I think I'm going to buy it.
That's it.
Next, we got Archer Materials Limited, ASX AXE. I like it. AXE, currently trading at 40 cents. Now, I had a look at their website over the weekend, Felicity, and a couple of little excerpts here I want to read to you. We're creating technology that could spur transformational solutions to complex global challenges. Archer is developing a qubit processor chip that could potentially operate at room temperature. I feel like they're lacking in conviction a little bit with their marketing. They're kind of going, yeah, we're going to make something and it might be able to do this, but maybe it won't. We're not, no promises.
Do that.
So we're buying Archer Materials.
Yeah, so this is another buy. I actually think they're really pushing the boundaries in the semiconductor technology with groundbreaking advancements in quantum and bioelectronics. Backed by really strong partnerships, and they've got a really good, robust IP portfolio. I actually went to their site tour, the Sydney Nanoscience Hub, recently. They've got like a prototype foundry there where they work out of. Really impressive space. And what was super interesting is they share it with other companies, and Microsoft is actually one of the other companies that uses this space. Although it's really small, 100 mil market cap, with these type of companies, you want to be in it before anyone else realizes what it can actually do. I mean, when I was talking to Mo, the CEO, it's actually like mind-blowing. He's a bit of a boy genius, to be honest. And I think their biochip is actually going to be to market earlier within the next 3 years, and then it will be their qubit. But also a really strong cash balance as of March, 20 million. They're accelerating towards commercialization, no debt, no capital raisings within the last 2 years. So he's really managing cash well. So yeah, it's a buy for me because I like to play in the dabble in the speculative space, and you got to be early.
I think I'm going to buy it.
The thing that's always got me about quantum computing is I've had it explained to me about at least half a dozen times, and I still don't get it. So I love it. Like, it sounds incredible, but every time someone tries to explain it beyond this is an amazing technology, I'm just like, you've lost me. You lost me at like, it can be both on and off. Like, I'm like, I don't get how that can be a thing.
Oh, it's just crazy, isn't it? It's crazy what they can do.
I'll leave it to the boffins though. All right, next up, we're going to look at BE Semiconductor Industries, BSIY, on the OTC Markets Exchange, currently trading at $182.76. And their website claims they are the next level in flux cleaning, which, I didn't know we'd reached the first level of flux cleaning, but here we are at the next level. So it's exciting times for BE Semiconductor Industries. Felicity, this is a buy. We're all buys here today, aren't we?
We're all buys. I mean, let's get honest, sales are boring, so I'm not going to put any sales in the portfolio. I don't have any sales. I've got very high conviction in my ideas. Excellent.
Love it. So where are we at with BE Semiconductor Industries?
Yeah, so basically they're dual listed, right, in the US and in the Netherlands, because it's actually a Netherlands company, 15 billion market cap. They're really a market leader. So I'll kind of explain perhaps what they do. They're in hyperbonding. So when you stack chips on top of each other, so how NVIDIA makes a lot of these AI chips, the gap between the chips gets smaller and smaller, and how you stack them becomes a problem. So eventually you have to do a copper-on-copper direct bonding of the chips, and that's really a challenging step, as it needs to be like 100% clean room, no particles, and the only company in the world with proven hyperbonding technology is BE Semiconductor.
Right.
Exactly. So
I feel like you're explaining quantum computing to me again. But this is
so they're solving, they're leading edge, solving the hardest problems. I mean, they're making chips smaller and smaller and smaller. This is actually being adopted by Intel, and I believe next year, memory and packaging will also go into hyperbonding. This company is difficult to look at, I guess, from a single year PE, but if you look to 2025 earnings, it's actually trading at only 27 times multiple. So I think there's huge, with hyperbonding, there's a huge acceleration of earnings and earnings growth for this company.
I think I'm going to buy it.
awesome. All right. Well, so far in the first half, we've covered off hyperscale and hyperbonding, so we're all hyped.
We're all hyped.
So why don't we take a break here, grab another spicy margarita. If you've got a stock you want to hear about on the show, let me know. You can use the contact form at equitymates.com or flick me an email, contact@equitymates.com. We'll be back with more buy or sell right after this.
And the old bear is back.
I'd buy that for $1.
Welcome back. You're listening to Buy or Sell, coming to you from the No Holds Bar. My expert today is Felicity Thomas, Senior Private Wealth Advisor at Shaw & Partners. Felicity, you've got some more stocks to get through here. We're going to kick it off with ASX BMN, Bannerman Energy, currently trading at $3.12. Uranium miner, rich history in yellow cake mining. I was always taught never to eat yellow cake. No, that was snow. Never eat yellow snow. Felicity, what do you like about Bannerman?
Well, we've been talking about it all on Talk Money to me in 2023 that we're very bullish uranium. I don't know if our listeners follow the uranium price. I mean, started the year with a huge rush through over $100 per pound. Spot uranium has actually pulled back recently to about $86, and it bounced off its lows of 81. So I think we've kind of hit the lows and it's upside from here. Basically, they've got uranium development. It's a uranium development company with interests in Namibia. 500 mil market cap, really well positioned with an established uranium mining jurisdiction where the mining and export of uranium via the Walvis Bay deep sea port facilities actually been ongoing for over 40 years. I think what's important here is they're really progressing towards their front end engineering and design, which is expected to be completed the second half of 2024. They're advancing their offtake agreements, and this will actually pave the way for project financing solutions, which may involve introductions of another strategic partner. 27 million cash, did a small capital raising earlier this year. They've also got a new CEO, Gavin Chamberlain. He actually has really strong global ties in the uranium sector and is deeply involved actually in the World Nuclear Association and has been previous chair of Nuclear Fuel Demand Working Group. So strong leadership at the helm. Shaw & Partners actually covers this one. Price tag $7.60. So they're saying 130% upside from here.
Yeah. All right. That's a buy.
I think I'm going to buy it.
Next, we're going to look at Playside Studios Limited, ASX PLY, currently trading at 80 cents. Now, Playside Studios has signed a deal to develop a Game of Thrones PC game. It'd be interesting to see how that works out because one does not simply build a Game of Thrones game. Playside. We buying Playside, Felicity?
Yes, we're buying Playside. And this is one that I've spoken about previously on other shows as well. Very bullish on Playside. Probably should have put it in the portfolio in November because I would have 100% my returns and really helped the portfolio there. But it's still
don't worry, you had Drone Shield in it. Don't we just keep that in there. We're all good.
It's just the timing, right? Silex was up a lot more, which would have actually pushed my portfolio. So it depends when you meet. We need to do it in November. We need to catch up in November and give me a year.
Right, okay, done. We'll get you back.
Get me back in November.
Yeah. All right, easy.
But back onto Playside. No, they've recently signed an 18-month extension and expansion of its existing work for hire contract with Meta. So that's a tick. That will continue till December 2025. You mentioned the Game of Thrones IP that they're working on with Warner Brothers. That's actually, we've pushed up and upgraded our FY24 revenues and EBITDA because of this. So this Game of Thrones title will be a multiplayer real-time strategy game. So EBITDA has actually been increased between 16 to 18 mil. Before it was 11 to 13. This is actually the fourth time that Playside has upgraded its FY24 guidance. That's pretty impressive. So reiterating a buy, we cover it here at Shaw. Our price target's $1, but our price target on Drone Shield was $1.40. So you know.
Excellent. All right. So Playside is a buy.
I think I'm going to buy it.
Next, we're looking at Lynas Rare Earths Limited, ASX LYC, currently trading $6.56. Lynas Rare Earth materials are used in high-tech and future-facing applications, including electronics, wind turbines, and hybrid and electric vehicles. Now, next to that little phrase on their website, they have a very low-res image of a Prius, which doesn't exactly scream future-facing applications, but still, we think Lynas is a buy.
Yes, and we probably need to talk to their marketing department then, don't we?
I just looked, I was scrolling through and I'm like, oh, that's a bit pixelated and it's a Prius. But I often think about companies like this and I think, where would I rather they focus their efforts? Like in the mining of the things or on the website? And I think if I'm an investor, I want them focused on the mining. The website can do what it wants.
Yeah, look, absolutely. And I think like lithium, rare earth price has actually dropped. It hasn't done that well this year, which is why Lynas, the share price has slipped on a decline in production, and their sales revenues dropped down to 106 million from 136 million for the prior quarter. We think the fall in revenue is really provisional, and they've made this decision both to hold its inventory rather than sell into a low price environment. So I like what management has done there. We know rare earth metals will see an increased demand as concerns of climate drive really the increased use of EV and renewable energy. This is driven by consumers as well as the government because we really need to adopt measures to reduce fossil fuel emissions. Lynas owns one of the best rare earth assets in the world. It's a world-leading producer of rare earth metals, billing itself as the only really significant producer of separate rare earth materials outside of China. That's really important, especially for relationships with the US. The Mount Weld mine in Western Australia has world-leading deposits, and while its Malaysian processing plant is also one of the world's largest in the sector. So I think if you're going to play rare earths, it's looking like good value at the moment.
What is rare earth? What are the materials? So it's not lithium, right? Like we hear about lithium miners and they're making batteries.
You need all of it. You need rare earth in creating EV as well. Just like you need copper and nickel, you need all of these materials in the whole EV supply chain.
Yeah, cool. All right. Lynas Rare Earths then is a buy.
I think I'm going to buy it.
All right, next up we are looking at Loftus Peak Global Disruption Fund, ASX LPGD, not to be confused with English footballer Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who I'm not sure what he's disrupting, to be honest. I think he's playing in Italy. Loftus Peak, though, Global Disruption. Sounds edgy. We buying this, Felicity?
Absolutely. And I've got no idea who that footballer is. So no idea who you're talking about.
I just wanted to shoehorn some sort of football reference in, given that we are into the final stages of the Euros.
Over my head.
Yeah.
So like its name says, global fund manager focused on investments in really listed disruptive businesses. So their portfolio comprises of some of the best and fastest growing companies in the world. So they've got companies that you would have heard of, like Microsoft and Google, as well as others that they really expect to be household names in the future. And guess what's in there? AMD.
Ooh.
Yeah, and Qualcomm. The way they construct the portfolio, they're really looking at companies that they believe can change, that can drive change across all industries globally. And they have a really strict criteria. What I really like is they've had this fund since 2016 and it's consistently returned about over 20% on average per annum. And the last year it's returned 39%. So I think if you don't want to stock pick and you want something that's going to hold global disruptors, buy Lynas Peak Global Disruption Fund.
So this is actually a managed fund, though, right? But we're not buying into the fund. We're buying it as an ETF, right?
Correct. Yeah. So you can do the unlisted version if you prefer unlisted, or you can do the ETF version if you prefer listed.
Let's go!
All right, that brings us to the last call here in the No Holds Bar, and we're looking at AML 3D Limited, ASX AL3, currently trading at 22 cents. Large-scale metal 3D printing. Now, I just ordered a $70 3D printer off AliExpress for my daughter because she wants to print a tiny boat. So I'm pretty much an expert in the 3D printing space now. Felicity, AML 3D, I suspect they're operating on a slightly larger scale than my daughter's tiny boat.
Yeah, just a little bit. Your daughter's tiny boat. This is a micro cap. 81 mil. It's actually had a really strong run over the last 2 weeks. Even when you asked me to come on earlier last week, it was only trading at around 14 cents. So it's up.
Oh, right.
And then I think it's up another 16% today. My entry was 5 cents here. I was buying up until around 10 cents. So I think if there's any sell-off, I'll buy some more. But I have really high conviction in this company. I think maybe just dollar cost average in because it's got a big, huge momentum. But I guess with Drone Shield, right, same thing. You could say, hey, it's overpriced at $1.50 and then it went over $2. So it's hard with these companies, when they get a little bit of momentum. But really what I like about it is they've developed a technology to 3D print complex industrial parts for the defence, oil and gas and aerospace industries. Now, industries where they have highly specific machine parts are often needed urgently and not readily available. So they've got a system called Alchemy, which can be installed and used on site to 3D print required parts near where they're based on a 3D computer model using various metals, steel or alloys. No waiting for shipping, and they can do it on site. They derive revenue in 2 ways. So the industrial scale 3D metal printing, so the parts, and the on-demand 3D printing systems with ongoing software revenue and maintenance. They've put a lot of money into this technology, $30 million, with about $8 million in the bank. So a little bit more than the $70 3D printer that you bought. Just a little bit.
Well, we'll see who comes up with the best tiny boat. All right, let's challenge accepted.
I'm looking forward to seeing it. Now, they've got really good blue chip customers like the US Navy, Austral, Chevron, Exxon, Base Systems and Boeing. Revenues across calendar year 23 and 24 to date is $14.9 million, primarily to the US Department of Defence and its supply chain partners. Also has South Australian government support. So recently had a government grant for $1.12 million. Expansion in the US makes a lot of sense. They're kind of pivoted that way. So because of that, revenue's up over 10 times really in the last 12 months. They've got a really good distribution partner in the US, Philips. They can really sell. And I think the most recent announcement was a $1.1 million sale with the US Navy supplier. So I really expect a lot more announcements to come for AL3. Watch out for more printing systems sold, more recurring software revenues attached to the systems, and the US expansion accelerating. I think if they can continue to grow revenue, this microcap could be a small cap in no time. The market that they're addressing in 2022 was valued at $6.3 billion US and is actually projected to expand at a CAGR of 23.2% to 2030.
And what's CAGR? Sorry, just for the uninitiated, like myself.
Like the compound annual growth rate.
Right, okay, good.
High conviction on this one. But it's had a lot of momentum in the last 2 weeks. But to be honest, it's very small still. You've got to be in it to win it.
Got to be in it to win it. I love it. All right, Felicity, that does us for today on the No Holds Bar. Thank you so much for coming back in and sharing your thoughts. Don't forget to check out Talk Money to Me, where you'll find Felicity Anywhere else people can find you, Felicity, if they're interested to know more?
You can reach out to us, info@cftgroup.com.au or tmtm@equitymates.com.
All right, and you can continue the journey on the Equity Mates website. There's plenty of resources there. You'll find the buy or sell tracker, along with the Find a Company page where you can get more information on each of the companies that we've talked about today. So that does us. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget you can find us on YouTube as well. And I hope you'll join me next time when we jump back into the No Holds Bar for more buy and sell. But until then, it is bye for now.